All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. We're here again today. Happy Thursday. Had to double check before I said that. All the days are running together right now. We've got Sam Harris with us. He is the president CEO over at Blue Dolphin Mortgage down in Florida, the broker owner down there. He has done a ton of work to put together information on SBA loans and all of the new things that you can qualify for, along with a lot of the people in your community. So we are so excited to have you, Sam. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you
us.
so much. Good morning. Happy Thursday. And I'm excited to be on this call.
So first, Sam, I want to just give everybody a little bit of background. You just kind of walked me through how you got started as a financial advisor and then moving over, which I think puts you in a really interesting and really impactful position to be able to educate people around all of their different options right now. So why don't you tell us a little bit about you and how you got started?
Well, I got started in the financial service business by accident back in 1993. I walked into a Series 7s class. At the time, I wanted to be a stockbroker. And I overheard a conversation about the rule of 72, and it changed my life. So I began going out talking to small businesses about SEPs, 401ks, profit sharing programs, and I got engaged in financial service, fell in love with it, learned a lot of great principles. So I have worked extensively direct with a lot of small business owners. And I see the complications that they have when it comes to getting access to capital. And there was this little thing called Y2K back in 1999. People were scared. They thought their systems were going to shut down, and everybody was buying all this software.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember it like yesterday. I said to myself, if the world's going to shut down, I need to get into a business that I can do for the rest of my life. I had my real estate license. I had my mortgage license. I never used it because my perception of mortgage broker was like a car salesman, throw up, you know? And I was like, you know what? I didn't know what I didn't know. I went and visited a guy at St. Armand Circle in Florida, in Sarasota, Florida. His name is Russ Coleman. He showed me how to underwrite and process a mortgage file. And he looked at me, he said, well, can you do this? I says, I'm not sure if I can, but how much money do I make doing this? And the average transaction in the Sarasota area at that time was about $1 million for the Ritz-Carlton project that was coming up. And I said to him, I said, well, you know, if I can make some money doing it, I might do it. He said, I make 40,000. I said, I'm in. So I went back to Tampa. I got my mortgage broker license, business, got my real estate corporation set up, and we've been doing it ever since.
That's awesome. And I got a chance, if y'all haven't seen it, Sam put out this really great presentation on SBA loans and all the different opportunities that are there. It's on YouTube. We'll definitely drop the link here on this live so that you guys can check it out. I got a chance to start watching it, and it's a topic that a lot of people are asking about, but there aren't a ton of people that are super familiar with all of the new opportunities that are coming out of the CARES Act that was signed into legislation last week. So Sam, can you tell us a little bit about what came out, what the opportunities are just in general, and then we can dive into the specifics of how different types of businesses can utilize it?
Okay, yes, absolutely. So the CARES Act is a piece of legislation that the Senate and the Congress passed last week, and the president signed it. The whole purpose of it is to get working capital into every small business that's 500 and under employees, and they do have programs for larger corporations. The idea is to make sure that you don't lay off your people. If you are a broker owner and you're thinking about laying off your people, there is a solution for you. Not only do you not have to lay off your staff by applying for this assistance, you can also offer this as a broker owner to other small business as a service so that you can make money while we try to weather through this storm. So there's 3 components to this legislation directly aimed at small businesses. Number 1 is called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. You can apply for that loan. You can get up to $50,000 at 3.75%. And the terms are anywhere from 10 to 30-year terms, depending on what your objective is as a owner of a business. In addition to that, they set aside $10 billion for a small business grant. So even if you apply and you don't qualify for that particular loan program, your business will get $10,000 that you do not have to pay back, is 100% forgivable. And now you have to do certain things, which is make sure that money is used to pay payroll or business expenses, but there are no strings attached to this money. Now here's the caveat. In order to get that business grant, you have to be one of the first 1 million businesses to get that. Because if you take $10 billion and you divide it by, let's say 10,000 is the number, you get 1 million businesses. So we're encouraging everyone in the broker community, go and apply for this assistance today. It doesn't matter if you qualify or not. The second phase, which is getting ready to start tomorrow, is called the Paycheck Protection Program. Simply how it works, Paycheck Protection Program will replace the cost of your payroll for 90 days. The federal government is going to fund your payroll for 90 days. In addition to funding your payroll for 90 days, they are going to fund your business expenses, because what we do not want is to have an unemployment situation where we got 30, 40, 50 million people unemployed. So that's the second phase, and I'll end up with this last point. The third phase is that SBA has put in a lot of great options for additional capital if you want to apply for a direct SBA loan.
Okay, so let's start with our community, right? Other broker owners just like yourself. What is the best path to being able to make sure that they can cover payroll, business expenses? Which one of those options makes the most sense for them to apply for? And then how do you do it?
Okay, so the SBA has a website called sba.gov, and you click on economic injury disaster loan, and it will take you to an application. It's very easy to fill out. If you're a corporation, if you're a sole proprietor, independent contractor, you can apply. So I would encourage every business owner to apply for this aid. And then in addition to that, the Paycheck Protection, you want to apply for that because it replaces your payroll as well as your expenses. And now the caveat with this particular program is that you have to pay that money out for your payroll and your expenses. It is a loan. So please understand, it's just not free money. It is a loan. But if you do certain things, which is pay your employees, keep them on board, pay your business expenses, and we can have a reporting cycle, which is on June 30th of 2020. If you can show that's what you've done for the last 90 days, that loan becomes 100% forgivable. That is amazing. Now, they want you to make sure. It's pretty amazing, right? So they want you to keep your employees on for the remaining 12 months, because right now we have an unemployment situation where we got over 10 million people that have filed for unemployment. If broker owners that are on this call that see this, if you guys lay your people off, we're going to wind up having a crisis of 40, 50 million people unemployed. And who's going to support the broker community? Who's going to do the loans that need to be done for families? Who's going to help those small businesses? So it has to be us. So what we need to do in this community is learn how to be a part of the solution. So the solution is pretty easy. So Kara, I mean, I can go on and on with this, but the most important thing is apply for that assistance on the SBA.gov. If you're not sure how to do it, you can follow the video that I've sent you and go from there.
Cool. So I think it's really important for people to understand how that loan actually gets calculated. So you're talking about it covering payroll and then your expenses, but does the government literally add up what your payroll was in February and then what your business expenses were for February, and that's how much money you're going to get in your loan for each month up through June?
Great question. So how the calculations work, let's just use this as an example. If your payroll is $10,000 per month, all right, they're going to allow you to do 2.5 times what your payroll is. So that will be $25,000 for 90 days for each month. So it'll be a total of $75,000. and it's based on what your payroll expenses have been for the last 12 months. So we're going to go
Okay.
back 12 months and we're going to look at what you actually have done for payroll. And you calculate that expense. That's expense number one, is the payroll for your employees. The second column is what are your business expenses? If you have cell phone, you have a mortgage, or you have office lease, you have equipment, you got software, different types of subscriptions, all of those things fall under fixed expenses. You will be able to also apply for dollars to cover those fixed expenses, so that while your business is transitioning through this process and this crisis, that you don't have to worry about not paying your insurance, not paying your lights, not paying your cell phone, not trying to negotiate things that you don't have to negotiate, because now the money you need is there. All you have to do is apply for, and 99% of all business owners that are under 500 employees will qualify for this program. And what's really unique is that the program starts tomorrow at all the banks that are SBA delegated. And simply what that means, if you have an SBA delegation, you make the decision at the bank level to approve the loan for the small business.
And I know we have, just tacking onto that, we've got a couple of partners of ours that are going to be making announcements that they are supporting and will be funding SBA loans. So everybody that's watching, keep your eyes out for that. We've got two banks that are partners and sponsors of AIME this year, and right now both are planning to be SBA designated banks. So they will be able to fund those loans. We're still waiting to find out if they're going to be brokering SBA loans as well, but they definitely will be supporting them. So you'll have an opportunity to go directly to those banks if you're looking to get this support yourself as a broker owner. One of the things that I want to make sure that we really drill down for people to make sure that this is very, very clear. You mentioned to me before we started the call, you cannot use this money and should not use this loan to expand your operations. The intention is for it to cover the way that you're currently structured. So we talk a lot about growing through this crisis, and we do believe that now is the time to continue to add processors, start training loan officers, continue to recruit from retail. This loan and this designation is not to cover those expenses. It is to cover the expenses that existed the last 12 months. Absolutely.
And the opportunity that's in the window is, while you're getting those expenses covered, you still can expand your business, but not with that capital. And one of the greatest ways to be able to do that is create a team that specializes in helping small businesses get this assistance, because you're going to be able to generate revenue. So those two banking partners that are partnering with AIME, if they're processing SBA loans, in the legislation, it has it spelled out that per loan that they will pay the broker 1%. It's already negotiated. So you need to get involved. You need to learn how this process works. So while we're still in this crisis, you don't have to worry about where your revenue is coming from.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great segue into, we've talked a lot about how these loans can be applied for members of our community, right? For broker owners that are out there that have maybe recently moved to W-2 from 1099, that have more overhead than they're used to carrying. For those that have grown over the last 6 months through all of the opportunity that was available in the industry, this loan could be really, really helpful for you. But it can also, Sam, to your point, be really helpful for your community. We talked yesterday with Jason Frazier about being a leader and being an expert within your immediate circle, right? Where you live and who you lead and who you know. And this is a great chance to not only highlight those small businesses in your community, like we talked about with Jason, but now actually help support them financially by educating them on what these options are and how they can apply. And to your point, it can also, your revenues, there may not be quite as many as are used right now. Perfect opportunity to dive in. So how would you suggest people start educating their communities and these small businesses on what the opportunity is and how they could maybe take advantage of it?
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. The one way that they can jump in is, number one, is that you have to become a student of the business. You can't go out there and offer someone something about you haven't studied. Don't take the talking points. Don't take the things that you just saw on the internet. Really get in it, learn it, study, find someone that has SBA knowledge that can provide you the insight to help you be able to better educate your clientele, the people in your market. So I will be hosting webinars. I will be hosting virtual summits, town halls with local officials that are in the area, because every community that's affected, the local government is getting involved, providing assistance to small businesses. But they also need experts like yourself that are brokers. Nobody does it better than brokers. We know how to calculate incomes. We know how to structure the deal. We know how to package the deal. So there's not a lot that you have to learn. You just have to learn the nuances of how SBA works. Once you get that under tack, you can go out and help your community and expand your business at the same time in this crisis. In every crisis, there's opportunity.
That's awesome. And you're right. There is nobody better than brokers to help lead communities through everything that's happening. It's all of the facets that we pull together, right? From being a leader, from communicating on social media, from trying to help bring your community together and provide the levity that people need right now, and just bringing smiles to people's faces, helping drive business to those local pizzerias and restaurants. And now you've got one other aspect that you can add to that, and it's actually helping sustain those businesses so that coming out of the crisis, they can come back and retain their staff, and you don't have restaurants that are needing to lay people off because you can provide them loans like this that other people are not going to be as educated on as we know that brokers can be.
Absolutely. And what I would say on that is that in addition to being able to do that, what you're going to be able to do as an entrepreneur, a broker, you're going to set yourself apart from everybody else in your marketplace. So when we come on the other side, you're going to be stronger. And the reason why you're going to be stronger, because I talked to a broker that says, I don't do any SBA loans. I says, great. It's a great time to learn. When you get on the other side and you now have 100 SBA clients or 200 SBA clients that you didn't have 2 months ago, all of their employees in the future come to your broker shop for their home purchase loan or for their refinance.
Exactly.
Because now you build a relationship that's going to last, because when the chips were down, the person that they're going to remember is that person that was in front of them, and it needs to be the broker community.
Absolutely. Well, Sam, thank you so much for taking some time to talk us through all of this. We're definitely going to link that presentation that you put together, because there's a ton of really great information in that. For everybody that's watching, AIME is also working on putting together some SBA collateral content, documentation, just tips and tricks on how to work through this, both as a consumer of the loan opportunity with these SBA programs, but then also as a broker to go out there and help educate your consumer on what the opportunities are. So Sam, thank you again. I'm sure we will have you back sometime very soon to talk about how all of this is playing out over the next couple of months. Everybody else, we'll see you at 4 o'clock Eastern with Jason Sharon.
Hey, now, Kara, if I could please, could I just end with this?
Yeah.
In the last 3 days, our office has processed almost 100 SBA applications for this disaster loan and the grant. And we're getting ready to process those same customers for the paycheck protection. So tomorrow morning, we're going to be in position to be able to submit almost 100 small businesses to qualify for this. So let me tell you what that's doing for our business. We went from being stopped dead in the tracks, not being able to do nothing, to where now we're going to be able to have revenue coming in probably in excess of $50,000 to $60,000. Money doesn't matter to us. What matters is that we're helping the customers.
Wow.
But you're supposed to make money in this business.
Yep.
So I would say just become a student of this business. And if you have any questions or anyone at AIME Group, we're more than happy to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam.
All right. Thank you.
We're going to shut this down so that we can go get to studying, so we can start helping small businesses in our areas too.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.